I'm not a lawyer, but have you seen this documentary on Netflix called Take Care of Maya? If you have, then you know all about the lawsuit that this family has brought against this hospital. Well, today, the trial officially started, and it's going to be interesting. If you haven't watched the documentary, you definitely should. But here is a very quick recap on the documentary and on this case. So this is the Kowalski family, and after the daughter, Maya, experienced some really sudden and severe pain, she is diagnosed with a really rare and debilitating syndrome called complex regional pain syndrome. We gonna call it CRPS. The syndrome is so rare that a lot of doctors hadn't even heard of it and certainly didn't know how to treat it. So once the family finds a doctor that specializes in CRPS, they end up flying to Mexico for a treatment that isn't administered in the US. It involves a 5-day coma with a drug called ketamine. Now, ketamine is really dangerous, very addictive, and frequently abused by patients. By this time, Maya is in a wheelchair and she can barely really move her body. Maya gets the procedure, it's successful, and Maya gets better. Until October 7th, 2016, when she randomly gets sick again. They take her to the hospital, and mom, Beata, is telling the ER she needs ketamine. The doctors are like, we not gonna give her no ketamine, and we not gonna give her that much ketamine. Mom is very insistent in telling them this is what she has, CRPS, and she needs this ketamine. Because mom is so insistent, the hospital staff gets alarmed and they called the child abuse hotline and reports Maya's mother because they believe Beata is making her daughter sick. They call it medical abuse or Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is a mental condition that basically means someone is making someone else seek medical attention for symptoms or problems that really don't exist. So eventually, Department of Family and Children Services takes custody of Maya. She becomes custody of the state. And for months, Beata is not allowed to see or speak to her daughter, and her daughter is still in the hospital. Eventually, the courts allow Beata to have phone calls with Maya, but even those are monitored and quite limited. The hospital tells the courts that Maya does not have CRPS, Beata has made it all up, and if Maya goes back into the custody of her parents, she's going to face further abuse. At the hospital, they're not giving her any of the medications that Beata has told them that she needs, and she's gradually getting worse. Beata and her husband Jack are told that if they want their daughter back, they should, number one, admit that she doesn't have this syndrome. Number two, admit that she doesn't need the ketamine, and then complete like some parenting classes and some counseling, and then they'll be given their daughter back. Beata, who again is a nurse, refuses. So after 87 days of not seeing or touching her daughter, constantly being told that she is a child abuser and that she has her own mental issues, and the final straw being denied by a judge just to give her daughter a hug, Beata, on January 8th, 2017, takes her own life. She ends up leaving a note, and the note says, "I'm sorry, but I no longer can take the pain being away from Maya and being treated like a criminal. I cannot watch my daughter suffer in pain and keep getting worse." After she passes, Maya is eventually given back to her father, and now the family is suing for $200 million because they say they were victims of medical malpractice from the hospital. They claim false imprisonment, they claim fraud, and they want to get paid for it. So listen, this is going to be really interesting. It's expected to last like 2 months, so I'm not going to make a video every day for 2 months on this case. But I will be watching. I'll watch the documentary and then come back to my page and leave a comment and tell me what you think.